Parents of Reddit, what is your kid doing or wearing that you hope is just a phase? My 7-year-old saw a ceiling fan installation video on YouTube, and he's now obsessed with ceiling fans. He's gonna ask Santa Claus for 4 new ceiling fans for Christmas. My teenage son is going through the I don't have to shower every day even after rugby practice phase. I've tried to tell him he stinks, but for some reason he thinks I'm crazy. I hope this ends soon. My teenage daughter claims that our family is a communist dictatorship and she has no rights. I sighed and told her it's more like a fascist dictatorship or maybe even a monarchy. He won't shave his beard. He's 17 and it's very thin and long. Reminds me of the first time I saw my own armpit hair when I was in middle school. I'm getting married next week and I asked him to shave. And he said, "But Mom, it'll take me like 2 years to grow it back." So we compromised that he would at least trim it shorter. Lying, but in a really incompetent way. She's nearly 3 and has started trying to get out of doing stuff by making the most outrageous and clearly untrue statements. Like, "You can't brush my hair, I haven't got a head." And "I can't put my shoes on, I'm a box and boxes don't have feet." And things like that. I try not to just laugh in her face, but it's difficult. My 12-year-old is obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. It wouldn't be so bad if every electronic device he got his hands on didn't get a profile or something named after some weird animatronic character. He made 4 new separate user accounts on the netbook that we let him use to play Minecraft, named them all after FNAF characters. My son is 13. He recently started insisting on tucking his pants, usually sweatpants, into his socks, and pulling his socks up and then wearing sandals. I told him he looks like a pirate with 2 wooden legs. He's a tall, thin stick of a boy. So far, no one else has mentioned it to him, so he thinks I'm just being silly. So my 4-year-old is obsessed with Minecraft. I enjoy it quite a lot also, but I'm really only playing it because he wants to watch. But he keeps wanting me to do creepy things. Like the latest thing he wants me to do is to build tracks and collect all of the villagers into a place and build a machine to kill them. I know they aren't real people or anything, but no, I'm not going to build concentration camps. My son is wearing pull-ups, and if the smell is any indication, he's currently crapping his pants while grunting and telling me right to my face that he doesn't have to go poop. This is getting really old. I have a 14-year-old who is obsessed with socks. He spent like $19 on a single pair of socks. They have to be these Nike Elite gold-plated something something. I hope he grows out of this fast. Crying. Just crying and screaming for hours and hours and hours to the point where I consider taking him to be seen by a doctor. Then, just as I'm about to arrange it, he stops. Then does it again. He's only 5 days old, but I'm already feeling the pressure and stress. So my 12-year-old son keeps saying that he's a bean boy. At first, I thought it was just a stupid game, but I checked his internet history and it is 85% bean related. I really hope it's just a phase. My 10 and 13-year-old are all hot topic, all the time. As a legit punk kid back in the 80s, this seems wrong to me. My tights were shredded because I was too poor to get new ones. It was just a bonus that they look cool. Hot Topic has some cool things, but I feel like it should be utilized to enhance a look, not to just be a head-to-toe walking marketing ad for their stuff. My 5-year-old is hitting that kindergarten phase where he's stretching his wings, experimenting with independence, and seeing exactly how far he can push his parents before something really bad happens. He'll sneer or glare at you when you tell him not to do something bad. But once you get in his face and tell him in no uncertain terms exactly what'll happen to him if he keeps it up, he starts crying. Can't have it both ways, bud. If you're old enough to run out into the street by yourself and laugh the first time I yell at you about it, you're too old to get out of a punishment by crying like a baby. His sister went through this phase too, and she got over it. Now she's the sweetest, most empathetic, most respectful little thing you could ever dream of raising. I'm sure he'll get there too. My 5-year-old is obsessed with Bowser from Mario Brothers. He talks about him all the time. It's getting old, and I wonder what the other kids in his kindergarten class think. Or maybe they obsess about similar things too. My 3-year-old has just discovered his personal bits and can not only pee in the potty, but if properly angled, can form a fine arc of urine that will land on anything he aims it at, which at the moment tends to be the cat. Yes, my toddler is peeing on the cat, which then runs all over the place, getting it everywhere. Thank you, toddler. Your girlfriends of the future will be hearing all about this. Not my parents, but my brothers hope that listening to rock music is just a phase. I'm a 20-year-old black man. God, please help me. My son has a fedora. Knee-high, neon-colored Nike socks. With shorts, naturally. Elementary school fashion can be mind-boggling. Growling loudly at everything. He's 2.5. Just flew to Orlando from the UK. Funny for the first hour, not so much for the next 8 or so. Minecraft and KSP. Granted, I play a lot of KSP, but I had to buy his own laptop and get it for him because he was messing up daddy's missions. My son has lately become obsessed with designer clothes that I can't afford at all. He's been pestering for a hoodie from some Born by Wolves or something like that, and I can't fathom how any sane person would pay $175 for a hoodie. I hope he grows out of it and starts saving the money I give him instead of spending it irresponsibly like he's doing now. Pull-ups at night. He's gonna be 7, and although most mornings that pull-up is relatively dry, I'm looking forward to never buying another diaper or pull-up again. My 5-year-old is 100% bathroom independent. He just forgets to wipe half the time. He also has a bad habit of waiting until the last possible minute he can hold his pee. This means he either A, unleashes the beast and lets fly, or B, has trouble with his belt and wets himself. Sure, it's sort of fun predicting when the cross-house potty sprint is going to occur, but it cannot be healthy. Pooping in the shower and towing it down the drain. He gets it on the curtains and everything. No idea how he does it. My 12-year-old has been obsessed with yo-yos for a while now. I was afraid he was going to get picked on at school because of it. Turns out he's gotten a bunch of other kids interested in them, enough that they're starting a yo-yo club to teach each other yo-yo tricks. One of their APs is going to help with that part, and the engineering teacher is going to help them design and make yo-yos on the new 3D printers. My son is almost 2 and he loves Dark Souls. Everything about it. He watches speedruns, walkthroughs all day. I've tried to get him to watch little kid programming and he won't. He watches for a whole 2 minutes and then brings me the Xbox controller and says, "Ma, Darsho!" He has swords and shields and he enjoys sword fighting now. If you pretend to stab him with a sword, he'll fall down, then get up and pretend to crush a life gem. The sound effect included. Praise the sun, I guess. I got the perfect one, but it was me. It was a blue blazer that I had painted with flames on the lapel and a skull on the back. Cool idea, a horrible execution. And the jacket was so ratty. Frozen. She has this one dress that she wears, it gets washed, she wears it again, lather, rinse, repeat. We watch that stupid movie almost every day. She's onto her second copy. She has a cape that goes over her regular clothes on the day her dress is being washed. I can repeat the entire script. I'm over Frozen. Not a parent, but my nephew pretty much lives with us, so close enough. He's 5 and is right in the midst of his picky eating stage. It's so annoying because we'll be eating one thing and he'll insist on eating something else. And he's hardcore, so he'll literally starve himself rather than eat what we're eating. So we usually have to give in. But sometimes we're eating a food he likes, but because he doesn't want that food that day, he'll try to claim he doesn't like it.
I don't like pizza though. We ate pizza yesterday. Yeah, but I was just pretending because I don't like pizza. I like pasta.
He's a great kid, polite and kind. But sometimes I want to drop kick him a few miles because he's getting on my nerves. Not a parent, but my 14-year-old brother wore shorts to school the last 2 days with temperatures between 0 to -10 degrees Celsius. My 3-year-old likes to pull his bits out of his pull-up and yell,
"Look at my dingle!"
I really hope this stops before I send him to daycare. My son is a brony. I just have to keep reminding myself that he's not drinking or doing drugs. Then again, teenagers have been drinking and doing drugs for centuries, and mostly turn out okay. Aspiring to be a magical horse from a show intended for kids half their age? Not sure how that'll turn out. My 7-year-old daughter will be fully dressed inside as though it's snowing and cold. She also refuses to wear matching gloves or socks. Please keep in mind that it's 76 degrees in my house. I guess it's more his attitude, but he's really materialistic and status conscious, at least as much as a 6-year-old can be. He's always comparing his stuff to other people's stuff. I don't really understand where he gets it from, because I'm not like that at all. On the one hand, it's cool if he's willing to work for the nice things he wants. On the other hand, it's not cool if he's just so obsessed that it's taking over parts of his brain, you know? He only wants to play sports that have the most gear, because he likes the gear, not necessarily the sport, and he has to have the nicest shoes. If his friends have some cool thing, he must also have that cool thing. He's the one who leaves the toy store saying, "That's really cool you got me these things, but why didn't you get me this too?" Yes, I've tried putting everything back and leaving the toy store. This just seems to be the way he is right now. He also thinks he's an expert after spending 2 minutes learning about something. That is really infuriating. No, you're not an expert on sharks because we read half of a kid's book on sharks. He also likes to be the best. No, you're not good enough to be in the NHL. You're 6. Okay, yeah, you're a good skater now, but guess what? If you just sit there congratulating yourself instead of practicing, all those other guys on your little league team will blow right by you next year. I mean, I don't say this to him, I just tell him to keep practicing. I don't know what to do anymore. My 9-year-old son really likes sleeveless shirts. My grandma bought him a bunch, and he chooses his daily outfit, which is always a sleeveless shirts with shorts every day. All of the shorts he owns are plaid. It's like he's all preppy on the bottom and hillbilly on the top. I don't care too much because who really gives a crap what their kids wear as long as 1, it's appropriate for the event, and 2, is clean. It's embarrassing to go out in public with him, but screw it, he's happy. I'm 24 and childless, but I really hope my rabbit stops pooping on my sofa soon. Not a parent, but my little brother has been playing a lot of computer games, and instead of using the normal hand configuration, ring finger on A, middle on W and S, and index on D, like a normal person, he uses his index for all 4 keys. It drives me crazy. My 9-year-old daughter dresses in as much black as she can get her hands on, and is flattered when people compare her to Wednesday Addams. She's also very into some YouTube channels that I really don't get, like Miranda Sings, and endless videos of people putting together outfits for different occasions. Which wouldn't be that weird if she didn't try to insist on spending 80% of her life in the same shapeless black schmat. My 6-year-old thinks he's Bruce Lee, and my 9-year-old thinks he's Paul Phoenix. Roughhousing is good, but honestly, they tag team me while I'm asleep. All I hear is, "What-a?" and I'm out cold again. Not a parent, but as a kid, I used to have a Hercules phase after binge watching the Disney movie. Used to take one arm out of my shirt like a toga and walk around with a sword, insisting to be called Hercules. I do miss my toga. Obnoxious YouTube videos. My Little Pony, Shopkins, Minecraft. I don't know how these people get so popular because their voices are downright painful. I truly wonder if Cookie Swirl C keeps friends with her fakey little girl voice. She has to be in her early 20s. I want an interview where she's asked, "What do people say when they find out your YouTube is all about you playing with kids' toys?" My daughter is obsessed with death. She's 9 and will ask hypothetical questions such as, "If this ferry sank, how many people would die?" Or, "Are there sharks in these waters? How many people have been eaten?" She seems to have toned it down a little bit in the last few months at least. I am so sick of Caillou and Daniel Tiger, these whiny little brats. But she's 5, and it's nice that she's not watching gender-driven drivel or wants to watch stuff with material that's too mature for her. My 7-year-old keeps making giant monoliths in Minecraft for Lego characters. His village worships a 400-foot Emmet. House full of 15-year-old girls, and they all call each other, and me sometimes, bruh. It's like they aren't even trying to finish a whole word. They gave up in the middle of it. Crocs. My 8-year-old has a hand-me-down pair. 4-year-old was dying for a pair like her big sis. Then 2-year-old wanted some too. Next thing I know, my husband will want a pair. And divorce is just too expensive. Hoping the Crocs phase goes away soon. She likes to drop her pants, shake her butt at me, and sing,
Botswana, Botswana!
She's nearly 6. At least she only does it at home. My daughter likes to sleep during the day when I'm awake, and then fuss and not want to go to sleep at night when mom is tired. She's a month old, but I can't wait until we get her schedule all figured out. My 2-year-old marches around the house with T-Rex arms and growls at us. She'll also chase us around the house while planning to be a dinosaur. Scares the crap out of other kids who come over to visit. Now that I think about it, she learned it from me, so might not be growing out of this one. My 13-year-old daughter judges everyone who is the least bit different from her, and is incredibly annoyed by almost everyone and everything. I'm really hoping she'll quickly learn to just stop caring. My teenage daughter is dating a girl, which I completely support. I'm just surprised. I just wish she would change because I have no clue how to deal with it. Do I treat her girlfriend like I would a boyfriend? Not allowed in my daughter's room, not allowed out late, etc.? Or do I let her run wild like I do when she's out with her other female friends? It seems wrong to treat her differently than the other girls, but at the same time, I don't want my daughter doing things she's too young for. This would be so much easier if it were a phase, or if she were already an adult. I could just be like, hey, that's awesome, and move on. Instead of getting up and going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, my 4-year-old pops a squat right beside her bed and pees all over the floor. I make her clean it up every time, yet she still does it. Roblox on my gaming PC. He's 11 and always goes back to Roblox. I don't get it. I have a huge Steam library, but I can't get him to play anything else. When my daughter gets upset, annoyed, overwhelmed, or overtired, she turns her head to the right and spits on the floor, like a continuous 6-inch long saliva snail. My kid is about to be 3, and for the last 4 months or more, he's been using the toilet absolutely fine. Now, all of a sudden, he poops in the garden. He likes the moon to see his bum plums. His words, not mine. I have a 22-month-old boy, and he's obsessed with plucking the hair out of all of his teddies and any toys that have hair, to the point that the seams tear open. He'll then cram as much of it as humanly possible up his nose. I have no idea where he got this from, and it's worrying that it'll get stuck one time. We've binned all furry teddies since, but any chance he gets, he'll try to pluck carpets, rugs, and even blankets. The boy is a nutcase. Anytime anybody farts, my 3-year-old blames me, even when I'm not even in the same building as him. My 2-year-old sucks juice out of his beaker and spits it on the carpet, then tries to suck it back up. It's really gross. I don't know why he does it, and it's really hard to stop him because, dehydration. It's a work in progress. Not my child, but my 11-year-old sister is obsessed with Halo. She's never played it, but loves everything about it. She knows more about it than me. Apparently, Master Chief's name is John. Who knew? If she finds some sort of Halo-related item in a store, she'll buy it and document the opening process by recording it. If she doesn't have the money to buy it, she'll document the find by, of course, recording it. It's not that bad. I find it cute. She also draws a really good Master Chief. She has around 200 plus drawings somewhere. She doesn't draw him to exact detail, kinda adds her own little flair. Also draws those little pet shop toys as Marines. I don't know, she's weird. My 7-year-old son is obsessed with Michael Jackson, specifically Smooth Criminal. He loves Minecraft and Five Nights at Freddy's too, but the MJ thing is borderline disturbing. He had a Michael Jackson birthday party, records videos of himself dancing in costume to Smooth Criminal, has several movies, CDs, a video game, an action figure, several costumes, and can tell you exactly what vitiligo is. He has all of these things because I choose to enthusiastically endorse pretty much anything he does. And I figure the fastest way for something to lose its sparkle is for the parents to think it's cool. Other than people thinking it's strange, his obsession has only caused public awkwardness once. We were out to dinner and there was another family in the restaurant that included 3 teenage sons with huge, luxurious afros. The parents were interracial and my son was open-mouthed gawking at them. The restaurant was a buffet, so there were several passes back and forth by us. And at one point, he whispers to me, "Mom, they look like the Jackson 5. I love their hair." He genuinely admired them and innocently wanted to look at them. But we live in Southeast Texas, so I'm sure they're used to getting gawked at in public for less pleasant reasons. He's too young to understand about the allegations against Michael, and he just thinks most people think MJ was a little strange and made up not nice stories about him because he was famous. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, linked at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Genius, give Am I the Jerk a shot, linked in the description as well. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.